Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hello, Captains, and welcome to the live recording of episode 464 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. Thank you for your patience. I know we're about an hour later than when we wanted to go live. We were working on a very important post. I want to thank everybody who was a part of that, helping to iron out and help edit it to be a more presentable editorial.
Well, and it wasn't hard work and a lot of dedication, because neither Skiffy nor I tried to be a smartass when Elijah took the stream. I mean,
that
so it's for real.
True. That is very true.
It's for real.
So, yes, thank you all for joining us on this evening, and it's great to have you all with us. Please be sure to say hello in the chat and let us know that you're watching. Also, be sure to tweet and share this show with your friends, and let them know that we're about to do a weekly recap and review of all the major headlines happening in the Star Trek multiverse. Thank you, Jason. Much appreciated. Before we continue, I cannot do this. I cannot listen and read at the same time. Like, my brain doesn't function like that. But if you can, please, we encourage you to head on over to priority1podcast.com right now. The hero image there links to a editorial blog post that we just published, like I mentioned earlier, with some very important information, a call to action, essentially, that we'll get to a little more shortly. Yeah,
and you don't have to read it now, because we'll read some of it in a little bit.
That's very, very true.
It could go into your ear holes instead of your eye holes.
That's true. Okay. All right. Shall we get this party started?
Shall we begin?
Everybody ready?
Yup.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to hit the big red button for intro. In 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Intro, sync 1.
This is Kat. Intro, sync 2.
This is Tony. Intro, sync 3.
This is Skiffy. Intro, sync 4.
Intro in 3, 2. Anybody know who? I know Kat did last week's. Who did the week before?
Tony's going to take it.
I got it. Right. I got it. This week on episode 464 of Priority 1, we trek out STLV's 2 big changes. Jason Isaac's thoughts on Prime Lorca, Jeffrey Combs clears up some confusion, and Jason Zimmerman talks special effects. In Star Trek Gaming, we have a call to action.
Intro in 3, 2. Hello, Captains. You're listening to episode 464 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. Your weekly recap and review of all the major news happening in the Star Trek multiverse. This episode was recorded live. I forgot that we were live. This episode was recorded live on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020, and available for download or streaming on Friday, June 12th at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elijah.
I'm Kat.
I'm Tony.
And in the audio booth is our chief engineer, Skiffy.
Hello.
Before we jump into the news, we want to invite you to join in on the weekly conversations, whether via social media platforms like Facebook.com/Priority One Podcast, on Twitter or Instagram at Priority One Pod, or by email to incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com.
Captains, maintaining these features would not be possible without the support of our patrons, so thank you to our entire Patreon family. Instead of going into that whole spiel about us being a volunteer production, I want to encourage you to join your fellow Trekkies as we get together and support organizations like the ACLU and Black Lives Matter. We joined Trek Movie. I gotta get the
Trek
link.
Together. Was that what it was called?
Trekkies Together, yeah.
Trekkies Together, there you go.
1 second. Sorry, guys.
Make good radio here. La da da. This is what we do when Elijah looks something up. Dum, 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 da, dum.
Okay. We joined Trek Movie along with our other... We joined Trek Movie along with our other sister shows over on the Roddenberry Podcast Network for hashtag Trekkies Together. Our goal is to raise funds for organizations like the ACLU and Black Lives Matter during this very crucial time in our democracy. So we encourage you to check out those links in our show notes and on trekmovie.com.
Oh, is it me?
Yep.
Now, let's check out the latest news from the Star Trek multiverse.
All right, everybody hit stop. Cool. All right. Did we create a folder? I don't remember. Yes. Cool.
Somebody did.
Thank you, Jake. All right. Yes, so, all right. Well, that's live. That's out there. That's in the ether. Not gonna lie. This Cuban boy's scared.
Don't be scared. It's just your name that's first.
That's right.
If people want to get mad, they can just stop reading there and not see everybody else's name at the bottom of it.
That's true. That's true. All right.
We're in 464?
Yep.
Correct.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of shows.
It is a lot of shows.
It's a lot of
9
shows.
years? 10 years.
Well, so I messaged Elliot about this a few days ago that he and I just celebrated our anniversary coming on to Priority One Podcast. So it was, hold on, I have it on my calendar. Actually it was like 2 weeks ago. When did we come on? Oh yeah, so Friday, May 29th was when James, Elliott, and I were offered the positions at Priority One Podcast.
Nice.
Very nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was 2011. So 9 years.
Wait, did you
9
get the
years.
gig?
I'm pretty sure I got the gig. I inherited the gig. All right, ready for Trek It Out?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to hit the big red button for Trek It Out in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Trek It Out, Sync 1.
This is Kat. Trek It Out, Sync 2.
This is Tony. Trek It Out, Sync 3.
And this is Skiffy. Trek It Out, Sync 4.
Trek It Out in 3, 2. Star Trek Las Vegas. A place where thousands of Star Trek fans meet to celebrate our favorite franchise. A place that brings the creative minds behind the property and the fans that have helped keep it alive for over 50 years together. A place where you must remain indoors because it's August in the desert and there is fear of spontaneously combusting, melting into the pavement, or becoming a gas through sublimation. Sadly, this year, Star Trek fans won't have the opportunity to officially meet up in Las Vegas this August. But imagine being able to celebrate STLV without the fear of looking like Tote? Is it Tote?
I have no idea, but you should just say that Nazi, the face-melting Nazi at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. No one will know that name.
But imagine being able to celebrate Star Trek Las Vegas without the fear of looking like that crazy Nazi melty face guy from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. On Friday, June 5th, Creation Entertainment released an update to the 2020 official Star Trek... On Friday, June 5th, Creation Entertainment released an update to the 2020 official Star Trek Las Vegas convention. From the release, quote, the 19th annual Star Trek convention's new date is now December 9th through 13th, 2020, and is beaming into Caesars Forum Conference Center, Las Vegas, the brand new state-of-the-art $375 million facility located in the heart of the famed Las Vegas Strip. Caesars Forum Convention Center features direct access to our new host hotel, the newly renovated Harrah's Las Vegas. End quote. So there you have it. This year, the convention will take place in December. This year, the convention will take place in December and won't be at the Rio. Creation followed saying, quote, William Shatner, Walter Koenig, Kelsey Grammer, and more guests have confirmed the new date, and we are currently working on more confirmations, end quote. Now, if you're still not comfortable making plans to travel at this time or simply can't go in December, Creation is suggesting you cancel your room at the Rio, call your airline, and cancel your tickets to the convention through a link provided in their release. But act fast. The deadline to cancel convention tickets through Creation is June 19th, 2020. Follow the link. Oh my God! I haven't had anything to drink. I haven't drank anything. Nothing. Alcohol has not touched my lips. Follow our link in the show notes for. Follow the link. Follow the link in our show notes for the release, and the link to cancel tickets if you so desire.
Well, that's probably a smarter thing than leaving it up in the air in August. December might still be weird with the coronavirus thing, but at least people will have time to make that decision now. It's not trying to rush here at the end and try to figure it out.
Now, interestingly enough, I already got an automated cancellation from the Rio. Like, they just sent me an email.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I didn't even have to click the link because it automatically sent me my cancellation.
But don't rely on it. Don't wait on this email, right? You know how technology is. You know that things go haywire. So if you have not already heard from the Rio that your reservation has been canceled, then make sure to call them. The other thing is this new convention center. From the looks of it, it hasn't been completed yet. Number one. Number two, it's still not clear how to get from Harrah's to the convention center. There may be a sky bridge that links the two, but Skiffy has been doing quite a bit of research on this and what have your findings been, Skiffy?
Well, I don't know anything specifically about a sky bridge. I didn't get that far, but I do know that this will the new center, when it's completed, will be right along the monorail, which opens up a lot of hotel options for anybody that wishes to attend. and it's right behind Harrah's. So if you're on the strip looking at Harrah's, this new facility is directly behind it, which is quite interesting. But it was scheduled to open in March, and that was an update as of September last year, but I haven't heard that it's opened, so I assume construction or finishing construction was delayed.
Now, Harrah's has already opened up the promotional sales with a coupon code, and if you received the email from the Rio, it linked you to that. Like, it linked you to automatically go to the Harrah's and take advantage of their Star Trek group code for the event. But, I think it's more expensive to, at least the nights that I usually go to STLV, which is 6 days usually, staying at Harrah's is much more expensive. Like, not by a lot, not by hundreds, but it's more expensive than staying at the Rio. So if COVID-19 seems to be under control in some way, shape, or form, if I decide to go, then I don't know that I'll stay at Harrah's. I may stay at one of the hotels on the streets that are actually even closer to that conference center.
There's a Holiday Inn right there, which is kind of nice. I mean,
Right.
literally across the street.
Actually, that Holiday Inn is a resort Holiday Inn, Skiffy, and it too is very expensive.
Oh, have you been chilling at the Holiday Inn?
I have not, but I thought to chill at the motel, Holiday Inn, resort in Las Vegas.
Kat, do I have to pay licensing just for saying that? I probably do.
No.
It's parody.
It was in context. I mean, it's in context.
Who's logged in as Priority One on our Twitch channel? Who? Oh! Right.
I don't know, but it's great. For reference, Priority One mentioned in our chat asked how close it was to Fremont Street. My response is not close enough.
I checked out the wonders of Fremont Street the last time I was in Las Vegas, and yeah, Skippy, I was missing out. I really have to say.
I think since you've been there last, it's been upgraded too.
Oh my God, it's even better. Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's even
pretty
more
awesome.
high definition.
And I think what we do, I think we can kill several birds with one stone. We can get Elijah to Fremont Street and solve our COVID-19 problems with one simple solution. We send him in cosplay in those 1960s spacesuits from Star Trek, with the big plastic dome helmet and all the hoses and stuff for fresh air. I think we kill all the birds with one stone. He won't be afraid to walk down Fremont Street in a 1960s spacesuit at that point.
I was gonna send him as a Gorn, but your idea is probably better.
I think in context, I think it works better. We good?
All right, let's go on to the next story.
When Jason Isaacs was cast as the captain of the USS Discovery, some people raised an eyebrow. It was interesting that the villain from The Patriot, Harry Potter, and the OA, as well as the voice of iconic supervillains Lex Luthor, Ra's al Ghul, and Sinestro, was going to be one of Discovery's heroes, Captain Gabriel Lorca. As Discovery's first season unfolded, it was revealed that Lorca should have had a goatee, and few viewers were shocked. But Isaacs I missed an and. That's why it didn't make sense. As Discovery's first season unfolded, and it was revealed that Lorca should have had a goatee, few viewers were shocked. But Isaac's compelling I haven't been drinking either, for the record.
I think that's the problem.
Maybe
I know.
that
I
is
think
the
that might be
problem.
the
I need to
problem.
go spike
I don't know.
my drink here. But Isaac's compelling portrayal left fans thirsty for more, and many were asking, where is Prime Lorca? As it turns out, it wasn't only fans asking about the devious would-be Emperor's doppelganger. In an interview with Films Podcast, Jason Isaacs asked that very question. He said, quote, where is Prime Lorca? Well, I admit that we talk. It's not like when Mirror Lorca bit the bullet, there wasn't a clamoring for Prime Lorca, but the thing is, it has got to be a great story. Pike is already there. We know what he's like. We've seen him, and he's great. We don't know who Prime Lorca is, end quote. Isaacs went on to explain that no one wants to see an indecisive... I don't know what that word is. Logi?
Yes, Logi, I believe, but it's
I don't think I've ever even
not
known that.
used that commonly anymore.
Well, let's bring it back. Okay. Isaacs went on to explain that no one wants to see an indecisive Logi character, saying, quote, he's going to have to be as interesting as ballsy, and you have to find him a ship and find him a context to bring him into a story. So we talk. And when and if we come up with something we think is fabulous, I will happily go on a starvation diet. I will happily go on a starvation diet required to slip into that snakeskin uniform again. End quote. For the full interview, check out the link in our show notes.
Oh, yeah. Prime Lorca.
So there was a clamoring for Prime Lorca, and it came from Cat's anonymous Twitter account. I'm pretty sure that's where the clamoring was.
What?
That checks out.
Was there more clamoring, or was that the only clamoring there was? I don't know.
No, there were loads of clamoring.
From your other anonymous
Loads
Twitter
of
account.
cameras.
She's sock puppeting Jason Isaacs back into the franchise. It's really great.
Well, that leads us to our first community question this week. Where do you think Prime Lorca is? Like, in the Star Trek multiverse? Do you want to see him in future Trek episodes? Let us know in the comments section for this episode at PriorityOnePodcast.com or by replying to our community question post on our social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cat is fishing a cat out from behind her chair. I'm making good radio while that happens. Oh my God! Then the desk, the chair. Oh, I think the cat is protesting. Cat protested.
I would agree. Yeah,
the cat protested. It's forceful removal from the recording environment.
No, see, what you don't know is that I have a new dog in the house that wants to eat the cat.
Oh.
So it was for his safety. Because
I believe that's
there
called
was
a Scooby
drama.
snack.
Yeah, well, Scooby needs to not snack on the cat. Okay, sorry. Whew.
All right, I've set us up.
Crisis averted, though I am injured.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It looked like that cat was panicking somehow. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the dog was, it was
eat
close. Yeah, it was close. All right, so he's not supposed to leave his room.
You sent the dog to his room.
No, the
cat.
Well, and he definitely wasn't happy about
The
that.
cat and dog are in the same room, and now it's Thunderdome.
Well, I don't think the dog would survive, honestly. That cat was mad, so... Okay. We can start. Where was I? I got distracted with Lorca and didn't see the disaster coming. Okay.
Jeffrey Combs, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we mentioned the hopeful proposition of a Jeffrey Combs return to Star Trek. This time as Captain Pike's booze-chucking chief medical officer, Dr. Boyce. If you'll recall, Combs was doubtful of the casting, saying, quote, "The chasm between what fans want and what the studios want makes the chances of it happening slim to none, and Slim left town." End quote. Whew, hold on. I'm like, I need a drink, I think.
And a Band-Aid, probably?
Yeah, a little bit. But Combs clarified his comments last week when he sat down with friends of the Roddenberry podcast network, TrekMovie.com. Combs told Trek Movie he was surprised that the Twitter exchange had become newsworthy. Wait, hold on. Combs told Trek Movie that... Wait. Adrenaline. Crazy. Combs told Trek Movie he was surprised that the Twitter exchange had become newsworthy before clearing up his statements, quote... Wait. Combs told Trek Movie he was surprised that the Twitter exchange had become newsworthy before clearing up his statements. Quote, "Some people were saying, Jeff says he doesn't want to do it, and that wasn't my point at all. My point was, there has always been a disconnect, and fans and..."
Probably needs to be a between in there.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
We probably have the audio for this, so it's not, I think, right? Is this one of those? Oh, no, we don't.
Yeah,
No, I think it's on Twitter, right?
Yeah. I thought audio was a little sparse this week.
Yep. You have to read
Quote.
it.
All right, let me start with the quote. Quote, "Some people were saying, Jeff says he was..." Damn it. Quote, some people were saying Jeff says he doesn't want to do it, and that wasn't my point at all. My point was that there always has been a disconnect between the fans and the networks and... Wait a minute. My point was there has always been a disconnect between fans and the networks and studios. It goes all the way back and not just with Star Trek. There is often this disconnect, and that is what my tweet was about. What you want and what they want is most of the time not in harmony. I took it as a compliment that people wanted me to be a part of it. It doesn't mean I wouldn't relish it or jump in and embrace it. But I have to be a bit realistic here. Wait. But I have to be a bit realistic here, and it's not likely. End quote. Combs also took the opportunity to explain his reaction, saying, quote, I deeply appreciate the enthusiasm of the fans. I love them so much. I would love it. I was completely surprised the fans jumped all over that, and I guess my tweet was an attempt to go, thank you, I appreciate that, but let's be realistic. I have to be realistic. No one wants their hopes to be dashed on the rocks of disappointment, end quote.
Wow. Has a more honest quote ever been conceived? What you want and what they want is most of the time not in harmony.
That's a gauntlet thrown down if I ever heard one. It's like, oh,
That's like prophetic.
Hey, studios, you know a good idea when you hear one, but we know you guys are dumb and you don't do the smart thing ever. So, I just don't want to be disappointed. Yeah, guys, it's like he's daring them to hire him now. Good on him, though.
I hope so.
He would be perfect.
That's true. It's said that the most impressive special effects are those that the audience doesn't consciously notice. If that's true, Picard visual effects supervisor Jason Zimmerman and his team should be considered some of the best in the business. This week, the accomplished Zimmerman sat down with Deadline to discuss the challenges of working on Star Trek and the importance of honoring what has come before. Zimmerman talked about the subtle work of layering effects to make sets look futuristic while still looking recognizable, like the sweeping shots of Okinawa or Boston, saying, quote, I think you first sort of establish the basic geometry and layout of the city or the location that you're shooting. Then you start to go in and dress things to camera, like sky traffic shuttles, holograms, to sort of flesh the world out and make it feel scope-y, end quote. The two-time Emmy winner also discussed the importance of past when creating new effects, telling Deadline, quote, working with these canon things like the Starship Enterprise and the Borg Cube, it's always a little bit daunting to be responsible for something that's so revered, that's been depicted so many times. So what you definitely don't want to do is go back and start from scratch. You have probably the best amount of research and reference humanly possible for any show, so you definitely start there and want to make sure that you don't do anything that doesn't make any sense. That's, for us, a very important part of process, doing our research and checking with everybody who knows the Star Trek universe to ensure that we're actually treating these things appropriately, end quote. For a link to the interview, of course, those links will be in the show notes.
They put 10 forward on the wrong deck.
Did they?
They did.
That's good. 10 forward of
there.
The Enterprise?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even remember 10 forward on the Enterprise.
It's on deck 10 forward. It's like on the nose of the ship.
Wait. You're talking about in Discovery?
No, in Picard.
When did we ever go to 10 forward?
What?
At the very beginning when Picard has his
flashback?
dream. Yeah.
How is it on the wrong deck?
It's underneath the saucer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the wrong.
Yeah, but you never saw the saucer from 10 forward on the show.
It's on the blueprints.
No,
yeah, but you still never saw it.
Hold on. How do you know it was on the wrong deck? I don't understand where you're.
It's on the
deriving that from.
blueprints of the Enterprise D. If you go to the blueprints, it tells you where 10 forward is.
No, I
You're
know
such
that.
a nerd, man.
I know
Oh
that,
my
and-
god. Excuse me while I unfurl this massive blue diagram of the Enterprise to point.
Where's
to
Anthony? He has those blueprints.
I own them too. They're great. But how did you know it's on the wrong deck in Picard? I don't understand where you're deriving.
They
that from.
zoom in. They zoom in under the saucer, and they go in to past where 10 forward is. It's off to the side.
I missed that. I got to go back and check that.
Oh,
That's
I
interesting.
do remember. They do the camera thing that the
I'm
original
happy to
Star
be
Trek
called
did.
out and told I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that they
I'm
zoom
gonna
under
check
the
that.
lip of the saucer and then in the
Oh.
wrong spot. Happy to
I'm
be called
gonna
out if I'm
check
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
Well-
double check me.
My microphone has stopped recording me, I think. I don't know what's happening.
That's bad. Seeing how this is an audio podcast, I still hear you. If that helps.
Hey, you look great.
Great. Well, I'm so glad.
Yeah, combing your hair backward rather than letting it stand straight up is a better look.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Like a anti-comb over, comb under.
It's a comb upper. It's just wow. It's it's a fence basically.
well, captains. That's all the news we have to trek out this week. Now let's find out. Now let's find out what's happening or isn't in the world of Star Trek gaming. Everybody, hit stop. I don't know what just happened.
So
My
you're
own-
one to talk, Tony. How's your hair doing, Mister?
not as
Mr.
good
Guard
as
Frequency
Elijah's.
Hat?
Yeah, not as good as Elijah's. It's a mess under here though. Let me tell you.
To be fair, I think Cat's got you both beat.
Yours isn't a mess though.
Yeah, but it's longer.
Yeah, but it's not a mess. Mine's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
So the last 10 minutes or no, not 10, maybe 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes of Stowe stopped recording an audition for me.
Oh,
We'll have
check
to
it
pull
out.
We'll have to pull. Yeah, check it out. Sorry.
From
So I'll
Zoom.
have to pull it from the Zoom recording. Good thing I remembered to turn on the Zoom.
The
recording.
duration of my track was 2150.
Yeah. It stopped recording. The microphone just stopped recording for me at some point, or audition rather.
So your file's there, but it's just a blank line.
Half of the file is there, but the other half is just a blank line. I didn't notice it was
Maybe
happening.
we can just play the first half twice. Hope everything lines up.
Yeah.
This
good
is
plan.
Elijah. This is a test. This is Elijah. Okay, it works. I don't know what the hell happened. All right. Okay, so I'm skipping all of this, and we're starting from last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, I need one.
And then at the end of that, I go up and read the thing in the colored box here.
The part of Scopely, yeah.
Peach box, mauve. What is this?
Who knows?
Salmon.
Salamander.
Salmon.
Salmon. It's salmon. Okay.
Salmon.
Changes my whole paradigm if it's going to be called salmon.
F you.
Come on, Skippy. What's the word that he says back to me?
What a dick.
Nosferatu.
Oh, yes,
Not
yes,
for
not-
tofu.
not
Not
for
for tofu.
Not for tofu.
That's so long ago, bro. Yo, that was like
But you were-
7 years ago. Nobody remembers that. But
Nobody
Paradigm,
remembers that.
But Paradigm,
Yeah,
that's
Paradigm was
fresh.
last week.
That
Yeah,
wound
that's
is fresh.
that's-
There's a recency bias, yes.
All right, ready for Stone News?
Captain Taro in chat says it's La Salmon.
Well played. Well played. Well played.
Nice.
It's actually El Salmon.
El salmon.
El Salmon. It's El, not La.
I hear that mariachi guitar thing when you say it like that. El salmon.
El
I
Salmon.
have
It's
never.
actually
and
not
I-
mariachi. It's Spaniard. It's the Spaniard guitar.
It's the classic
El
Spanish guitar.
salmon.
Yeah, that we need to have have a comic book character named El Salmon.
It'd actually be El Salmon if you're doing it from-
right, because it's Barcelona.
Barcelona. yeah.
Barcelona.
I, by the way, I have never and probably will never understand conjugations in Spanish.
It's the hardest part.
Okay, so the way I learned it was with curse words.
Well, you were born there, right?
No, first of all, I was not. No, first of all, I was not born there. I'm first generation
okay, fair.
American. I'm the first one. Well, my uncle too, but we are both first-generation Americans. Our family lineage is off the boat Cuban. And so my Spanish teacher taught it to me this way. So it was in cursing. So, like, I fart on your, like I fart on your grave from South Park. I fart on your grave, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that from South Park?
Right, Terrence and Phillip. Yeah, that sounds like a Terrence and Phillip thing.
So
But
I
they were
fought on your
Canadian.
grave. You fought on his grave. We fought on their grave. And so you do that in Spanish. So yo jodo, él jode, nosotros jodáis. Like joder is to like bother. Like it's not necessarily. It's not really a Spanish word. It's or rather a bad word. But it is more colloquial. Like joder is very much a bad word in one country, but not in Cuba. Like, no me jode, chico. Don't bother me.
Yeah, bother. Okay.
So yo jodo, tú jodes, él jode, vosotros jodáis, ellos joden.
I have some curse words in Spanish too, but I'm not going to say them because we will get letters in Spanish that I won't be able to read without Elijah's help. So
He just uses Google Translate. We established this already.
That's not funny. That's not funny because I just literally I just wrote a strongly worded email about people who Google their Spanish. I need to get more water before I read this, so please make good radio.
Okay, here we go.
He doesn't want us to Google our Spanish. Maybe we could use Alta Vista or
ask Jeeves.
pull up the old Netscape Navigator.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. No, the Spanish that I took in high school did not cover such things like curse words. I did not. That's a good technique. I'm imagining that Elijah didn't learn his Spanish in high school that way either.
I mean, what?
Probably not, but I learned Spanish in Texas, so they didn't even bother teaching us like how they speak Spanish in Spain. It was more like how they speak Spanish around here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't learn how to speak Spanish in Spain either. I just watched some Spanish telenovelas that were made in Spain. And I asked my teacher, why does everyone talk funny? And she went, because I have you watching the ones actually made in Spain. Yeah, the accent's wrong.
Was it Nosotros?
Vosotros. I think the Vosotros.
They must have a Spain version because we watched Nosotros.
Well, yeah, no, Destinos was the one we watched. But no, I was saying one of the cases you don't use in American Spanish,
right?
Spanish from North and South America, and then the Spanish do use it, and then they do the Barcelona people do the thing, from what I recall. But after she told me that the accent was terrible, I then started doing all my Spanish vocal responses with an absolutely atrocious American accent on purpose in class to just really annoy her. When it came time for the verbal test, I'd go up to her desk and I'd do like just fine. I would do the correct Spanish accent, just fine. But when we did it in class, I would do it with an American accent that drove her absolutely nuts. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Donde
Jay Farnsworth
está
in chat.
la biblioteca?
Jay Farnsworth in chat goes, I learned French. Why? I do not know.
That's funny. Zeph Film says he learned it from Fast and Furious 2 when they went to Miami. Nice. I never saw those movies, though.
I didn't either. I think I got my curse word. Some people get their curse word education from the movies. A friend of mine went to Mexico City summer after junior year, something like that, and she came back and had the scoop. Just
wow.
she made sure to let us all know her vocabulary expanded. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
And she enjoyed just cursing a blue streak out, and of course the only person in the room that really knew what she was saying was the Spanish teacher. But the rest of us just went like, yes, mas por favor, dame mas.
Panda says, I'm not surprised, Panda, that you were a contrarian jerk even in the 3rd grade.
Some of us established patterns.
What if I do my hair like this?
I think the Fonzie should come back. Can you guys just do pompadours, get some pomade?
That's what I'm trying right now. I'm gonna do pomade.
Oh, okay.
I could probably do that. I'm gonna have to shave the sides off or something. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Hey guys, we've got 2 new subscribers
Oh my gosh! Thank you
in
so
chat.
much.
Zeph Films and Rolling Minecart.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you guys
Thank
for your
you.
subs. That's awesome.
That Zeph Films guy sounds dangerous. I don't know if we
Mauricio no
should keep
tiene
him
nada que
around.
decir. Yo te veo, Mauricio. Yo te veo. ¿Qué pasa, chico? Okay.
His Twitch stats say he's a troublemaker, so
Probably
probably better
so.
steer clear. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, probably.
All right. I've got all my water. I'm ready to read this. You guys
Okay.
ready?
Is
Do
it
it.
water or is it, water?
Wa-
No,
Water.
it's not. It's not. It's just water. I'm sorry. Yes, it is just water. It is not anything other than water. I'm not gonna lie, man. My fight or flight feeling right now is like,
In through nose, out through mouth. Focus power.
all right.
Mercies for the weak.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Zeph Films just gifted tier 1 subs to Jay Farnsworth, Eris,
Oh,
Advisory
thank
Panda,
you.
Winters, and
What am I
Mixed Juice
missing? What are these
2001.
things?
Subscriptions to
To
our
what?
channel.
On Twitch?
Yep, on Twitch.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Told you he was dangerous. I told you to watch out for that guy, didn't I? Here he is handing out subs.
What does this give-
Zeph,
what is a
Zeph
gifted
says in
z-
chat, what a jerk.
What? Wait, hold on. What are? But no. Explain it to me because I don't know what this. What is it? What does that mean? What does it mean to gift a subscription?
It means that he, as I understand it, it means that he paid for those people to have subscriptions to our channel for, I presume, a month.
But I thought our channel was free.
Our channel is free, but if you subscribe, it boosts us. It's a subscriber perk. So there's 2 ways you can subscribe. You can put in money to do so. You can gift subs, which is the same as putting in money to do so, or you can subscribe with a Prime subscription, which is also a cool thing because if you have Amazon Prime, you're allowed 1 free subscription per month to apply to any channel you want. But yeah, it helps us out because that's the same as like a Patreon subscription kind of thing. So
Oh,
we really
awesome.
appreciate it. That's
Well,
awesome.
thank you so much, Zeph. Thank you very much.
We
for that.
we tried. This is new to us. The Twitch subscriptions is new as of this month. I think we just activated a couple of weeks ago, and so yeah, this.
Oh,
is
he
cool.
says Twitch takes a cut, but I guess that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeph. Here, Zeph. Here. All right, are you guys ready for Stone News? Or
Ready?
yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna hit the big red
We're-
button.
We're ready to listen to you.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah, Stone News, Sync 1.
This is Kat. Stone News Sync 2.
This is Tony, Stone News, Sync 3.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. This is Skiffy Stowe News Sync 4.
Stone News in 3, 2. Last week, Viacom CBS made a statement through StarTrek.com. It read, quote, Black Lives Matter, Black Culture Matters, Black communities matter. We stand in solidarity with our Black colleagues, creators, partners, and audience, and condemn all acts of racism, discrimination, and senseless acts of violence. End quote. Following that statement, other Viacom CBS networks like BET, VH1, Comedy Central, and Nickelodeon paused programming for 8 minutes and 46 seconds with words that included, "I can't breathe." This is certainly a nice gesture, but a gesture is really all it boils down to when a company has more money than it knows what to do with. Words, protests, picket signs, boycotts, they are all actions of people who do not have the financial means to make sweeping changes. It's the only way to get their voices heard, to take it to the streets. But when you're a company that makes money, words should not be your only show of support. Words don't pay for legal fees. Words alone don't fund new bills, laws, and resolutions at local and federal levels. Companies that can afford it must put their money where their mouths are. I've been carefully observing who in the Star Trek universe of things has stepped up to the plate and who has sat idly in silence throughout the entire ordeal. This entirely. And I like the way I said it the first time. One Sunch company.
Sunch. Bring me Sunch. I'm hungry.
One such company who has remained silent is Cryptic Studios, the developers of Star Trek Online, and arguably one of the most public-facing licensors of the Star Trek franchise. So, what's the problem? Well, Joshua Rivera of The Verge had this to say, quote, "Every company that has a game it wants you to play is now measuring your tolerance for silence or inaction, the way they measure where to line step with the implementation of loot boxes. The public, lacking the luxury of ignoring the real world around them, does not have to accept these minimal gestures as sufficient." End quote. Since George Floyd's death earlier this month, Cryptic has remained silent. Now, this comes as a shock to me because if you follow some of the members of the development team on their personal social media accounts, they are very vocal about their support for the Black Lives Matter movement, police reform, and other causes that promote justice, equality, and reform. Translation. This doesn't make sense now.
We didn't change that. There you go.
Translation. To Cryptic, at least as a whole, we are just metrics. We're just a number with a value of how much we've spent in the game. Those making the tough calls don't care about those making the tough calls. They don't care about our armadas or guilds, our role-playing groups, our ship Barbies, or why we even play the game. So if we're logging in and hanging out around Earth Space Dock or Kronos, we're telling companies like Cryptic Studios that we don't care about their stance. Now, hold on. If we're logging in and hanging around Earth Space Dock or Kronos, we're telling Cryptic Studios that we don't care about their stance during this socio-political shift that is shaking this democracy to its core. Now, before you dismiss Cryptic's silence as a licensing thing, let's not forget that the official Star Trek Twitter statement and the 9-minute segment run on all Viacom CBS outlets. Now, before you dismiss Cryptic's silence as a licensing thing, let's not forget the official Star Trek Twitter statement and the 9-minute segment run on all Viacom CBS outlets in support of Black Lives Matter. And before you say it's a corporate thing with Perfect World Entertainment, look at Extra Games, the makers of Torchlight 3, another Perfect World Entertainment title. On June 2nd, Torchlight tweeted in support of Black Lives Matter and linked to a San Francisco Chronicle article listing various organizations that need donations to support the cause. The only logical conclusion is that Cryptic's management has simply chosen to remain silent. So, what to do? So, what to do? It's not enough to just make a statement, but that's a start. What is important is to follow through with actionable objectives that will contribute to the growth of our nation and the security of equal rights and liberties for all. Which leads me back to the Star Trek franchise and the game developers that we cover on a weekly basis here on Priority One. Words are not enough for these licensors, or even Viacom CBS themselves. And with all that money, their silence speaks volumes. Often as gamers, we turn to the old Vote with your wallet when we get pissed over a new update, some new in-game item, or some other feature that is pay-gated and we had hoped to attain for free. But right now, we need to log off. Yeah. As the video game industry is booming because of stay-at-home orders, we here at Priority One are asking you to log out of the game. If metrics are what they're after, then let's demonstrate with absolute resolve that Black Lives Matter. That no one should be marginalized for their race, creed, religious beliefs. That liberty and justice for all does not come with a disclaimer. So I'm asking that you join us in staying offline and do not log into Star Trek Online on June 19th, 20th, and 21st. Don't log in to run your DOS. Don't log in to beat the Kobayashi Maru scenario for this event. Don't buy Zen. Just don't. While others are demonstrating at protests around the world, while others put themselves at risk of being assaulted by police with rubber bullets, tear gas, and batons, while others march for our lives and the future of this democracy, while people fight for a better way of life, I don't think it's too much for this gaming community to sacrifice just 3 days of Star Trek Online so that we can make an important point. We all need to do better. But those with the financial means, they must do more. It's not just about a post with white text on a black background. What we need is action. What we need is action for and financial support to organizations that drive the fight for equal rights in this nation and elsewhere. Cryptic, among others, should not only make their stance clear, but they should also commit to something. Exactly what they should commit to is up to them. But it must be more than just words. Captains, live long and prosper through infinite diversity okay, actually, do we want to say that we're not covering Stone News until they say something? In addition to asking you not to log in on June 19th, 20th, in addition to asking you not to log in on June 19th, 20th, and 21st, Priority One will not be covering Star Trek Online until a statement is made. Captains, live long and prosper through infinite diversity in infinite combinations.
Last week we touched on the Star Trek world's responses to the ongoing protests and the social upheaval in the United States and around the world. This week, another part of the Star Trek gaming universe has shown their support. Scopely, the makers of Star Trek Fleet Command, recently donated $1 million to the Black Lives Matter Foundation, NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, and the Equal Justice Initiative. The company stated, quote, "The time is now to listen, learn, and act for forever change," end quote. And just let me say from a personal note, this is about friends correcting friends. We see, and we have, a lot of us have done, I'm guilty of it, of just not saying anything. That we just got to let it go. It's not my place. You got to call out your friends when they make a mistake. And right now, to stay quiet, it's kind of a mistake.
Agreed.
So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all. Kat, do you mind reading?
The last part?
That's
Are we
all.
doing the interview still?
No, that was last week.
Oh. That's all we have to cover this week. Now let's open hailing frequencies. I always say that weird. That's all we have to cover this week. Now let's open hailing frequencies and see what's incoming.
Everybody hit stat.
Down. Coming down. Deep breaths. All right.
Well, a little bit.
Okay.
You did?
Captain Terrell. Captain Terrell has a question about the Priority 1 Armada anniversary events that weekend.
I responded.
Oh, you did? Okay. Do you want to make a blanket statement to everyone?
Yeah, I just want to say that we in the Armada fully support this. We are not logging in. We are rescheduling all of our events, and check our website to get updates.
And that's priority1armada.com?
Yes.
And I want to thank everybody here, Kat, Tony, Skiffy, people who are not here, Winters, Elliot, Jake, for helping me write that up and helping me flesh out those statements and that statement. So,
well, and a big thanks to you for writing it, because you did a huge part of the legwork there.
You know, the truth is that, you know, I made a post on this on my personal Facebook page the other day, that I am well aware that I am afforded so much privilege as a light-skinned Latino. And that my brothers and sisters of color, my uncle included, who is much darker than I am, deal with aggressions every day. And I too have experienced my own microaggressions. And after working at where I work for the last 6 years, over 6 years now, I work for the Department of African American Studies at Princeton University. And I've listened to some of the greatest minds of our time address these very issues. And I have learned that how to approach my own life, how to approach other people's perspectives, and most importantly, not to just awkwardly laugh away microaggressions that are done towards me or people around me. And I've over the years begun more and more to stand up for myself. Now at 35, but growing up, I never paid it. It never dawned on me. Nor did I realize what was happening. But no, not anymore. And like I said in my Facebook post, I'm not going to awkwardly laugh at a microaggression. I'm not going to awkwardly laugh, and I'm not talking about here. You guys are family. I'm not talking about the present company excluded. There's a difference between making, having my culture being a part of my character persona on the podcast. But there's a difference between that and a microaggression, right? Somebody saying something stupid like, "Oh, here's a script. Oh, I didn't bother to research the Spanish. I just Googled it. Can you read the script for me? Can you just translate it on the fly and make it sound more Spanish?" Things like that I will not tolerate anymore. People yelling at me for, if I make a post about something stupid in tech and saying that there are bigger things to worry about. I'm fully aware that there are bigger things to worry about.
Some people hear the word microaggression and automatically go to the realm of, oh, he's talking about politics and I don't want to deal with that. But another way to say microaggression is a little bit of ignorance. If you don't know that it hurts somebody's feelings, you won't know. And if we don't tell each other, hey man, that's not cool, you're never going to find out. Right. And we owe it to each other to not only nudge people in the ribs and go, not cool, man, but we also owe everyone the opportunity to learn from the nudge in the ribs. And that's just what it's about. It's just when you hear someone who's a different color than you, I mean, I might say things, we intentionally piss Elio off sometimes, making jokes about tequila and burritos, Mexican type things, when we know for damn sure that his background is Cuban. We know that. And he dishes back as much as he gets. But that's because it's not a microaggression, because we're aware of the fact that we're making a joke with our friend about his background, and he is aware that we're aware that he's gonna push back. The difference is when you don't know and no one tells you, and if someone does tell you, you don't listen. That's when it becomes aggressive.
Right.
It's an active ignorance. It's an active rejection of someone else's point of view about their own self.
Right.
I'm telling you, this makes me mad. Listen to him.
Sometimes it's subconscious too, which is still a microaggression. Even if you don't realize you're doing it, you might still be doing it.
All right. Let's move on to feedback, shall we? And actually, I want to give a shout out to Zeph Films, who in the chat said, I'm on board with this. I won't be logging in even to record any videos during that window. Thank you, Zeph. If you want to pledge that, if you want to pledge that you're not going to log in to Star Trek Online that weekend, mind you, Kat actually pointed this out, is that Juneteenth is a very important date in Black history. And so
End of slavery.
right.
Yes.
So I was, it's one of those days that just go under the radar and nobody talks enough about. So we're starting it on Juneteenth. And so if you'd like to, I was thinking about doing like a pledge form, something that you can just add your name.
Easiest thing to start off with, just leave a comment on our blog post.
Yeah, leave a comment on the blog post
and
let us know that you're 100% behind it and that you will not be logging into the game.
And I linked that article before, and I'm going to link it one more time in case
Thank
you
you.
guys missed
Thank
it.
you. Oh, that only goes to Twitch. I just did it and I went and I had to go to everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So yeah, please leave a comment there in our website that you pledge the same, that you won't be logging in during those 3 days. This is one of those moments where voting with your wallet is more than just about a ship or about a feature or about a DOF or something like that. Yeah. All right. Feedback.
We should have saved that for last, because now we got to get the energy back in the room.
No. That's a good point.
Wait. What we need is some sort of theme song or something, Skiffy.
And actually, I do need to give a shout out to...
It's been a long time getting from there.
No, you need to turn your microphone back on, too, because I can't hear.
Actually, I do need to give a
Maybe
shout
it's
out
me.
to Shane and Advisory Panda.
me.
They had written out a full Stowe News article for us to read, and then we made the decision that if we were going to do this, we were going to commit. We were going to commit to it. And Zeph
Films.
This is a good question. You know, what happens if they do make some noise? If something does happen, you know what? Great. Then log into the game and have fun. You know, if they do something actionable, more than just white text on a black background saying we support. I think that gaming companies right now are making bank. If you research those articles, they're making bank with people, because of the stay-at-home order. These last few months have been amazing for the gaming industry. You mean to tell me they don't have a few extra dollars in their bottom line to donate? I mean, let's face it, you're going to get a tax credit anyway on the donation. Like, get out of here, right? Lawyers, am I wrong?
Well, we're not accountants, but
Well,
I do
no.
believe that you can claim a tax credit for donations
I do believe
made.
that was a microaggression against.
That was totally,
That's
absolutely.
not
Yeah. I give lots of entertainment, educational opinions just for fun and giggles here, but you said the T word, man. You said the T word.
Well, I do.
I touched it.
I mean, not for nothing, Tony, but you do handle our taxes.
Well, it's one thing. It's one thing when it's like our little hobby podcast. All right. Now you're talking about things with lots of zeros on it going to charitable donations. I don't know anything about the corporate structure of this entity.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yes.
Serpentine.
Yeah, I mean, if they do make something, that is impactful, that is more than just words, then we go about our business and we support the company that is doing what it's doing.
Yeah, didn't Mike in the Twitch stream say they just had their best days ever when those packs came out? So when asked, if the game was going to survive or, if it's going away, he said they've been doing extremely well. So I think, they could make it. Yeah, well, I did too. So why don't you, donate some of that?
Right. All right. Feedback. You guys ready?
Yep.
Ready.
Okay, I'm gonna hit
Thanks,
the big red
Zeph.
button.
That helps. Every bit helps.
Thank you,
Oh,
Seth.
yeah. Thank you, Zeph. Zeph already left a pledge on the blog post. All right.
It's easy to get lost. I'm sorry, I know you're trying to start, but it's
No.
easy to get lost and feel like you're one small voice that's not going to make a difference. But that's exactly why we stand together.
That's true. That is
Because
true.
1,000 small voices in unison is
And the blog-
a very, very loud voice.
And the blog post, the opening of the blog post, addresses things that I didn't say on air because Tony told me I couldn't.
No,
but
it's already a long thing. It's already really
Right.
long. We got to, yeah.
but to Skiffy's point, we're a podcast that doesn't make money, right? Like, I don't walk away paying for stuff from this podcast in any way, shape, or form. None of us do. We're all volunteers. If we did, yeah, you better believe that, if we had millions of dollars and offices and things like that, you better believe that as, I don't know, what am I, the chief operating officer of Priority One? Definitely executive producer, but I don't know
the
what
Cuban overlord.
the Cuban overlord. I would certainly be using my, whatever funds available to support organizations that are leading the fight. But we don't. What we have is the community, like Skiffy said. We have the community. We have our friends, our listeners, our supporters that believe in what we do and more often than not tend to share in the philosophies that are at the DNA of Roddenberry Star Trek.
And the tent is big enough that you don't have to, like, I'm going to use my air quotes. You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid, right? You don't have to buy everything that Leo said. You don't have to. You just have to open your ears up and be willing to take the nudge in the ribs. Just listen and change your behavior just this much. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how little effort it takes and how much you get back from it.
Tony, I really want to argue with you and tell you no.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But there's
look, racism must end. There's no.
It does. But you got to recruit those guys. You got to let them have a chance to see the error of their ways, and you got to because there are going to be some people that listen to what you said and just reject it out of hand.
That's true.
But there's some people that it's the first time they heard that. It might be the first time they heard that. And they can be saved. They can not even saved. They can be
educated.
They can be
educated.
I like saved too. I like saved.
I mean, that works too. But yeah, it takes effort, takes patience, and that's the effort that we have to do, and we expect that effort back. It's not too much to ask.
All right, ready for feedback?
Do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah feedback sync 1.
This is Kat feedback sync 2.
This is Tony feedback sync 3.
This is Skiffy feedback sync 4.
Feedback in 3, 2. Well, captains, hailing frequencies are now open, and we're ready to receive all of your incoming messages.
Last week, our first community question was, would a season-long Year of Hell be something you'd want to see?
On Twitter, Hayden Jones writes in, if they are just going to press the reset button afterwards, excuse me. If they are just going to press the reset button afterwards, then 2 episodes is fine. I want 6 episodes of the Year of Hell, and then have Janeway remember it and have to cope with the trauma, perhaps by stepping down as captain for an episode or 2, a la TNG's Family.
On Twitter, Jason Smith says, I think it could have been a longer story. Year of Hell could have had even moments. So Year of Hell could have even. Okay. Year of Hell could have even had moments on the temporal agent's side. Did they notice? Did they try to get there but showed up after Voyager finally won? Or did someone say, oh, it's Voyager. If they do this, we should be fine.
On Twitter, Ken from Chicago writes, yes.
Thanks, Ken from Chicago.
Well said.
And via Facebook, Ray Borg says, hell yeah, it would have been a very dark season of Voyager seeing who would have died or survived. The creators should have taken risks like they did with DS9.
Guys, I get it. Year of Hell is good and it would be a good idea. But, can we drink a little more of the Enterprise Kool-Aid? Because I just watched Demons and Terra Prime, season 4, the penultimate, the penultimate episodes of the end of Enterprise, and I do not remember those episodes being that good.
Season 4 of Enterprise, some of the best Trek ever filmed.
I think every time we bring that up, Elijah, you've rolled your eyes before.
No. I've been enjoying Enterprise for several years now. Maybe not when it was on UPN and I was, I don't know, what was it? This 15 years ago. I was 15 or 20.
We don't talk about UPN.
Yeah, but those 2 episodes. If you have not watched Demons and Terra Prime in a while, please rewatch those episodes. I might even just rewatch them again because they are so good. First of all, Peter Weller.
Peter Weller,
fun.
yeah,
always fun.
Peter Weller.
Always.
Yeah.
It'd be more fun if in the JJ verse they managed to tie him in like he never aged and it was the same guy and he infiltrated. You know what? Why not? That'd be an interesting story. He infiltrated Section 31.
Just do the Brent Spiner thing. That's his great-great-grandpa. Colonel Green is that admiral's great-great-grandpa. Yeah, he comes back and keeps playing Descendants over and over again.
And but here's the thing: is that it boils down to this about Star Trek. There are so many episodes, so many years, so much in the film and television canon that some of them are always going to ring true and resonate that Roddenberry DNA in context to whatever is happening in the world. That's the thing about Star Trek. Whether it's Far Beyond the Stars last week or Demons in Terra Prime during the 2016 election when people wanted to build walls, no matter what, Star Trek seems to always offer something for everyone. I have a hard time understanding how right-leaning people enjoy Star Trek. Like, when you watch Demons and Terra Prime, are you rooting for Peter Weller's character? I'm curious. I'm legitimately asking this question. But Star Trek has something for everyone, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Star Trek is... Oh, shoot. Who's the not Nosferatu. Jeez, why am I slipping? Oh my God, the
paradigm.
The guy who wrote all the prophecies.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Yeah. Star Trek's like Nostradamus. If you do enough of it, several of them are going to land right on the bullseye.
or people, or this might be more true. People are going to view those things that you wrote down through the lens of the current day and go, "Oh, well, he predicted that."
True.
Yeah, that's more like it.
All right, everybody hit stop. I'm surprised you guys weren't agreeing with me more.
Why do I want to say Simpsons did it? Simpsons did it over and over.
Yeah,
I know.
Simpsons did it. Simpsons is also not for tofu.
It's a paradigm shift.
It's their paradigms. I'm pretty sure I've said that word just like that on stage once before. Pretty sure. Nobody corrected me.
You know, it's important
He's a professional
to listen
actor. He surely knows how to pronounce the word.
Yeah. So it's important to we not stay quiet during those times. We need to tell our friends, hey, you've made a mistake there. You should back up and try that again. It's important we tell our friends these things.
Oh, man. All right.
And then if we ridicule them relentlessly for up to 7 years after the fact, we expect our friends to do that too. It was 7 years ago, right?
Big shout out to Gray and Zeph Films. I just approved their comments on our website. Their pledges to join us. So thank you very much again, Gray and Zeph.
And according to our staff Discord, there'll probably be more Priority 1 staff signing on to the bottom of that as well. So,
right. All right, closing. I'm going to hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah closing sync 1.
This is Kat closing sync 2.
This is Tony closing sync 3.
This is Skiffy closing sync 4.
Closing in 3, 2. Well, that wraps up episode 464 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. But there are more great shows available to you on the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Just visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for a complete list. Then be sure to subscribe and tell them all. Then be sure to subscribe and share. What? Why can't I read this sentence today all of a sudden? Then be sure to subscribe to them all and share them with your friends.
But we can't forget to send a special thanks to some of our Patreon supporters like David K. Rutley and Peter Archibald.
And here's a reminder of our community question this week. Where do you think Prime Lorca is? And do you want to see him in future incarnations of Star Trek?
Captains, it's important to us that you get your voice heard and that you participate in the conversation. Leave us a comment on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com, on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Priority1Podcast, or find us on Twitter and Instagram at Priority1Pod.
And if you're still craving more, be sure to spend time with Winters, me, and the rest of the Priority 1 Armada. Saturday nights, the Armada broadcasts live to review the latest news from Star Trek Online and the Armada community, including spotlighting some of our amazing members. With regular giveaways, there's something for all Star Trek Online players, whether you're new or a veteran. Follow us on all our social media accounts for broadcast times, and if you'd like to join the Armada, visit PriorityOneArmada.com.
This episode of Priority 1 is brought to you by our patrons through Patreon.com. Find out more and add your support at Patreon.com/Priority 1. Now, even if you cannot make a financial contribution to this show, please help spread the word about it and invite your fellow Trekkies, because it's your support that keeps us going.
Don't forget to tune into Priority 1 Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
I know. Thanks to our audio editors, including Gray, William, Brandon, Rand, Daniel, Roscoe, and Skiffy. Thanks to our producer, Jake Morgan, and associate producer, Shane Hoover, with support from Advisory Panda of the Priority 1 Armada. Together, they help us organize and write up our summary of the weekly headlines from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks to our social media manager, Anthony Cox. Thanks to our graphic artist, Henry Pomper, with support from Jason Smith of the Priority 1 Armada. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners, our friends. Because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. Everybody hit stop.
Jason Smith, thank you very much, sir.
You gotta say what about. Remember, not everybody can see Twitch chat.
Oh, sorry. He said joined my name to the list.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jason.
Yeah, I look. It's I think, Kat, you said it better. You said it better. I think you said it behind the scenes, and I hope you don't mind that I talk about this. But
No.
there are people. Some of us aren't. Given the nature of COVID, maybe we can't go out. Maybe we can't protest. Maybe there are social anxieties that hold us back from attending large crowds. There are other ways that you can support a cause like what's happening in the United States, like support causes like Black Lives Matter, causes for police reform. You don't have to feel inept. Is inept the word? Unable
Helpless.
to do something, right? Incapable of doing something.
Inept is more like competence. You're not helpless.
Yeah.
What's the word?
You're
What's
not
the word?
powerless.
Yes, you're not powerless.
Powerless.
Yeah,
Powerless,
you're not
yeah.
powerless. And Star Trek and Star Trek Online has been our community for 10 years now. 9 as a podcast, 10 as a game itself, over 10 now as a game itself. It's a home away from home for some of us. It's how we escape. Sometimes we have to defend greater goods. And if this is the small gesture that you can do, well, it matters. It might push a company to donate the money that you can't afford to donate. Right? If Cryptic Studios ends up donating X amount of money, that's more money than not having been donated. So 3 days. That's all we're asking. Don't log into Star Trek Online for 3 days. The 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. Don't buy Zen during those days. Heck, don't buy Zen the whole month of June. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not buying anything until they make a statement, until they do something. But at least for those 3 days, commit to those days if you can, and play another game or watch a movie, read a book, read a comic. Star Trek comics are actually really good.
And remember, this isn't about vindictive feelings or revenge or punishment. This is a nudge to get behavior to change, to get people to do something that they're not comfortable doing. If they were comfortable doing it, they would have already done it. This is uncomfortable for them for some reason. So they need to be shaken a little bit. Like we all do. We all need to be. Hopefully a lot of people got shaken this week.
Yeah. I mean, not logging in, it definitely proves a point for those of us that log in a lot.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us, even though we were an hour late. We were working on that post. And again, I want to thank my team here for their assistance in getting that together and helping me proofread it. And yeah, until next week, let's devote some time to make a change.
Hi, everybody.
Hold on, I want to read what Duncan wrote. Duncan, also huge thumbs up to Elio here. Being on the autistic spectrum, I've been beating myself a lot for not being able to get out into large crowds to protest. Finding other ways of showing support or affecting change has been hard, but getting there is where I need to be. So, Duncan, thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. You've been a good friend of the show for years now.
Like Skiffy said, just a bunch of little voices, just a little thing. Go out of your way just this much.
Yep.
Well done.
All right, captains, have a good night. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Night.
Bye, y'all.
Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.